So I'm going to move on to a little bit, so when we talk law and legal documents, it's probably every entrepreneur's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
You want to build a business, you want to go out there, you want to be selling, you want to be creating. But let's talk a little bit for small and medium businesses. Like, in your view, what are the sort of three non-negotiable documents that they need to think about? I'm sure there are many more, but if you had to pick any
Yeah.
three, what would you say
Yeah.
to a business owner?
As you probably see on my LinkedIn post many times, the shareholders agreement or partnership agreement. For me, I think if you're going into business, it's the
Mm.
ultimate document that you need. It will govern how the business is run. It will set out your roles within the business and what you can and what you can't do. And also, it talks about the things we don't want to talk about. What happens to your shares when you die? What happens if you become
Yeah.
incapacitated? It's a horrible thing to talk about, but having that piece of paper and that document there to say this is exactly what happens, especially during a stressful time like that. The families are going to be wanting to deal with other aspects, but if it's all there on paper, we can deal with that. And I think one of the biggest aspects is when I talk to clients is sort of further on down the line, if they've gone into business with a family member or a friend. Oh,
Mm.
we were the best of friends, we didn't need any paperwork. Then it all falls down, and then that's when the real
Mm.
issues start. And it's heartbreaking to see, because the shareholders agreement is not like a magical document. I like to see it as it can act as that barrier between the business relationship and the family and friends relationship, because you will have always something then to aim for. There's no ambiguity about, well, what happens if this happens or this happens. And
Yeah.
also, yeah, and I think it really sets the tone out for how your business is run.
I guess it's a little bit like a prenuptial contract or an antenuptial contract in a marriage, right? You need to, and even prior to that, when you start dating somebody, you kind of agree your values and how you're going to engage and how many dates you're going to have a week and all those sorts of things,
Exactly.
and do you
Yeah.
want children or don't you? So it's those foundational principles.
Yeah.
Maybe just before we go into the next two documents, like what happens if you're a sole owner of a business, so you don't have partners? Is it still important? And I mean, I guess shareholders talks to having multiple people, but what do you do if you're a sole business owner?
So if you're a sole business owner, I think the thing that you really got to look to is you have your articles of association. That's sort of the
Mm.
Bible of how the company runs, and all companies will need those. They're uploaded to Companies House. We actually noticed recently, when we were dealing with sole shareholder, sole directors, that their articles didn't actually match what they required. So the quorum for voting on decision making, because we're actually dealing with someone who was borrowing money from the bank, and the bank
Yeah.
raised the issue saying, your articles don't match you because you've only got one share.